to finish this lesson, I'm gonna show you two things that are important, two basic tools, right? The first one is the extension or the extensions, because there are many ones. Basically, an extension is a plugin that you can install in your Visual Code to help you code better. Basically, that's what a extension does. And when I say better, I'm talking about code, but I'm also talking about productivity, right? So to install any extension, you can press Ctrl Shift X, right? Ctrl Shift X. It is going to open this extensions area right here, and you can search for the extension that you want to install. So after this lesson, you can Google like the most important extensions for Python developers, right? But for now, I'm going to show you the second thing, that is the extension that I recommend you to install now, all right? That is the PyLint, all right? So search for PyLint here, click install, and then click mine already installed, but you can click install and wait for it to install. So PyLint is an extension that helps you to write your Python code in a better way. What do I mean by that? Python has its own style of coding, right? There are some little rules that if you are starting programming right now, or if you are a programmer that knows other programming languages and you are starting with Python right now, you're probably going to face some situations where the details that you already know in other languages are not good in Python. All right, so for example, the name of the variables or the methods, the functions, that if you're starting now is something that you're gonna see, all right? Be patient. But if you already know how to program in other languages, for example, in Java, some objects, some functions, they use like camel case structure of writing, right? In Python, we use snake case, you know? So this is just an example, but PyLint helps you to write better code in general, both talking about the beautiful code, but also the functional code, right? Let's see an example. So I just installed PyLint, and I can see here that we already have a tip from PyLint. You can see that in my code here, PyLint is telling me that my constant name doesn't conform uppercase naming style. What does that mean? It means that for the Python style guide of programming, age first is not a variable, it's a constant. Why? Because I put a value and I just printed this value. I didn't modify this value. So why would that be a variable? This is not a variable. This is a constant. All right? And if it is a constant, the style to write constants in Python, we don't use lowercase, we use uppercase. So if it is a constant, I should probably write like this, age, you know? So in this case, you can see that, let me get rid of this. Let's use just part of this code. So we can see here that that tip that PyLint was telling us previously disappeared, all right? So from now on, this is gonna happen every time we write a code. PyLint is going to look and tell us, this is not good enough for Python. Change for another structure, change to another way, right? So it's not the same thing of autocomplete, but it helps a lot, right? Because you write your code and PyLint gives you a tip, a hint, right, to improve and to look more Pythonic. So these are the two things to finish our lesson. First, extensions. You can use it as a basic coding tool, installing extensions that makes your life easier, all right? And PyLint specifically, that is an extension that forces you to write Python code the more Pythonic way possible, all right? The most Pythonic way that is possible. And that's it for today. These are some of the real interviews that I recorded to show you how real companies interview developers from inside. Use them to prepare for real interviews and get the job of your dreams. Go to marosacademy.com or click the link below.